Bob Trumpy and Sports Talk. If you're calling long distance, please make a note of our toll-free numbers. In Ohio, call 1-800-582-1701. Out of state, dial 1-800-543-0471. And in Greater Cincinnati, call 749-3420. And now, once again, here's Bob Trumpy.
Thank you. If you're a long-distance runner, I'm sure today you realize that it's Patriots Day in Boston, Massachusetts, and that means the running of the marathon, the Boston Marathon, the 86th Boston Marathon. Today, Alberto Salazar won. He beat off a challenge by Dick Beardsley. In the final yards, his time was 2:08:48, and that is a Boston Marathon record, not a world record. Dick Beardsley finished second. John Ludwig finished third, and Bill Rogers fourth. 7,623 entrants, and I believe there were like 867 women entrants, and the seventh place finisher happens to be a sophomore from Xavier University. Her name is Julie Isphording, and her time was 2:43:31, and she is with us on the phone from Boston, hopefully resting comfortably. First of all, Julie, congratulations on your performance in the Boston Marathon. Are you surprised?
Oh, yeah, very surprised. Very happy to finish that high up in such a neat race.
Yeah, how many other Boston Marathons had you participated in?
This is my second. I was here last year.
And how does your time this year compare to last year's time?
It's three minutes better than last year's time.
3 minutes better.
Huh?
That, I would say, is tremendous improvement.
Well, it is from last year's Boston, but I ran this summer and did 9 minutes better before, so I'm sort of in between now.
Yeah. Julie, when you went to Boston to participate in your second marathon, did you expect to finish that high?
Oh, no, I had no indication I'd be able to do that well.
Was that one of the things that maybe made it easy for you?
It had a lot to do with it because I was way up in the field, and the crowds were cheering me on, and they were telling me how well I was doing. And then I passed a lot of women the last 2 miles of the race, so I really was getting excited.
Terrific. What was your strategy?
Well, I really wanted to run a break of 2:38 today, but because of the conditions, I wasn't capable of doing that. But I wanted to take it easy going out, and then for the first half of the race, and then try to catch women on the way home. And it worked out that I did catch a lot of, but I didn't finish in the right time that I wanted to. But all things considered, I'm pretty I've done.
Now, the women's winner was a lady named Charlotte Teskey of West Germany. She came in at 2:29:33.
Huh?
And was there any point in the Boston Marathon, Julie, where all of a sudden you hit that psychological wall that all long-distance runners talk about?
No, not at all. I've trained hard for this race, and I've never experienced anything like that. I think maybe it's really psychological. And today I had no problems at all. It was hot. The weather was a hindrance, and the pounding down the hills really, my legs and my feet took a beating.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I was, that was it.
Did you experience any real problems at Heartbreak Hill? Apparently a great many people do.
It was awful tiring, but, that's part of the race. You're in there for everything.
Yeah. At what point, Julie, and at one time I was an athlete myself, at what point did adrenaline begin to take over your performance? Could you feel it?
Yeah, like when I got to the top of Heartbreak Hill, I knew I had 6 miles to go. And I thought, this is where I really better push it if I want to, pass some women and get the place I want. So that's when the adrenaline started working, and the crowds were the most dense there, and they really cheered me on. It really helped a lot.
Yeah. Had you ever been in a situation where all of a sudden you could tell that this was going to be a lot more than you expected, and the crowd began to cheer, and did you all of a sudden kind of lose track of where you were and what you were doing? Is there that kind of euphoria when you're running a marathon?
Well, it's kind of like you leave all your pain out of your mind, and you just try to run on all your heart. That's what it was. The last 6 miles is like running just, with your adrenaline, because my legs were killing me and I was tired and hot. And that's the only thing you run on those last 6 miles is pure heart and, you know, just the idea that you want to finish and, you know, all the training that you put in and really to have it pay off for you.
You speak of your training, Julie. How many miles did you run and how long did you specifically train for the Boston Marathon?
I started late in January because I was coming off an injury for 2 months. And I was running like 100 miles a week. And it was like 2 weeks of speed work. And then on weekends it would be long runs, like 22-mile runs. And it was really hard in the snow and the weather in Cincinnati was just the pits this year for runners. I think maybe I'll move to Southern California someday.
No, Julie, that's a mistake. Don't you understand that it was that approach that got you the 7th place finish, that if you go to Southern California, you'll run yourself out there?
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Well, how do you feel physically now? Are you suffering?
My legs are really sore and my feet are mangled. I mean, they have so many blisters on them. But otherwise, I feel pretty good. I feel a lot better than I did last year. And I think after a few days, I'll be out on the roads again.
Well, what do you do to combat the fatigue in your legs and the blisters on your feet?
Just a little rest. Go out and have a few beers, you know. That'll help.
That seems to always help. I'm wondering, not being a marathon runner ever, and nor will I ever be, I can't entertain myself long enough to run 26 miles, Julie. What type of food did you consume the 24 hours prior to the Boston Marathon today?
Oh, we went out for dinner last night and had a big spaghetti dinner. And that's the big thing. It's called carbohydrate loading, where you just strictly take in lots of carbohydrates. In fact, that's the fun part about the marathon. The 2 days before, you get to start eating lots of carbohydrates, lots of cookies and cakes and spaghetti and breads and bagels and all that fun food.
It sounds nice.
It is fun.
I had Bill Rogers on this program. I would imagine it was about a year ago, and he sat here for 2 hours, Julie, and in that 2 hours consumed about, I'd say, 8 or 9 soft drinks, and he must have had at least a dozen candy bars. And when he got done, someone was escorting him around Cincinnati because he was here for, I can't remember for what. And when he got done, he said, "Man, I'm hungry. Let's go someplace for spaghetti." And the girl he was with said, "You got to be joking." He said, "No, I'm starved. I'm absolutely famished. Where can we go to get some good spaghetti?" And he can't weigh 120 pounds.
Oh, I know. Well, if you think about how much energy you expend, I guess that's part of the reason I run, so I can eat so much.
One other question for you, Julie. We were reading off the Associated Press wire that the winner, Alberto Salazar, had apparently some real serious physical problems after the race, and that his body temperature had dropped 10 degrees. Is that common?
That's real common. That he was experiencing dehydration. That's what they said up here on the news. And in fact, they had a lot of fatalities today, and it was all due to the weather, because he dehydrated himself, and so his temperature went way down. And you know, the opposite is when their temperatures soar. You know, like I've been to races where temperatures went up to 109, 110 degrees. It's all part of running. There's lots of problems.
What were some of the other problems that you learned about today?
Lots of people stopping with cramps and heat exhaustion. They quit sweating. Greta White was running a world record time, and she dropped out at 23 due to cramps.
Yeah, she had 3 miles left to go. Apparently, the cramps were very, very severe.
Very intense.
Yeah. What did you do to guard yourself against hypothermia, I believe it's called, right? Or is it hyperthermia, dehydration, whatever? How do you guard yourself against that, Julie?
The key is to try to get a lot of water at the beginning of the race, like the first 10 miles. Keep drinking water, keep dumping it on your head, try to stay wet and all that. And I did that, and I think that's the key. Nothing can help you from 20 on, nothing.
Nothing.
Even if you start taking in, a lot of water, it's too late then. Because you're pretty much dehydrated So you got to get the water early in the race.
Yeah. Julie, of the people that finished here in Cincinnati, was there anybody that served as your rabbit or as your coach along the race, or were you pretty much on your own?
I was on my own this time. Yeah, I ran alone. There were a lot of men around me, and the fact that I was one of the top women, they really know how to take care of you. They get to water, or they always ask if you need something, or ice, and the crowds always are offering you things along the way, and so they'd grab water for me and give it to me, which was a great help.
You mean the men do?
The men, yeah.
As they're running alongside of you?
They're running alongside of you, and they'll grab water for you and hand it to you. And
people that you don't know?
I don't know them. Never seen them in my life.
The only common bond you have is that you're running in the Boston Marathon.
That's right.
And you may be passing them and actually finish with a better time.
That's right, and I did pass.
What happened to chauvinism?
Oh, it left ages ago.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of chivalrous long-distance runners, apparently.
Yeah.
Hopefully you will recover in grand fashion or at a normal recovery rate. How long will it be, Julie, do you think, before you can run again?
Well, I'll start running again tomorrow, just training again, because I'm off to San Francisco in June for another marathon, and I'll be in New York in about 4 weeks. So I have to get back onto it. You never quit. Yeah,
I'm wondering now if your 7th place finish will turn you into if you're not a fanatic now, and I believe to run a marathon you have to be to begin with, but I'm wondering if that 7th place finish, now you put pressure on yourself through training to finish better than 7th the next time you run.
I always try to improve. I think that's the key to running, and it really motivates you to train, as intense as you want to. And I'm always going to try to do better. It might not mean finishing in a better place, but maybe with a better time or at a better race or something like that.
Well, Julie, I certainly admire you for 26 miles, 385 yards, 2 hours, 43 minutes, and 31 seconds.
Well, thank you.
7th place finish. Congratulations to you.
Oh, thanks.
And thanks for talking with us on Sports Talk.
Oh, it was great.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Julie Isphording, 7th place in the Boston Marathon. Her feet are mangled. Her legs are sore and stiff. And tomorrow, she begins training for a marathon in San Francisco. I must have different genes. You couldn't drag me out there.